Welcome to Let's Grow Texas Ag, showcasing unique farm and ranch stories of the South Texas coastal plains. First-hand knowledge with special guests presented by our very own and well-known host, Joe Adams. Pull up a chair and enjoy as we share some of the heritage and insightful stories that have made us proud Texans. Let's Grow Texas Ag, sponsored by Scherer Kubota, Trust Texas Bank, and Weber Motor Company.
Hi folks, and welcome to this edition of Let's Grow Texas Ag. I'm your host, Joe Adams, and our traveler today takes us to the banks of the Lavaca River. Our old buddy, Mr. Buddy Lee. Mr. Buddy, how are you, my friend?
Never better.
Never better, right?
Never better.
I want to tell you one thing. This is a guy that absolutely needs no introduction in our part of the world. He's been a little bit of everything. If you've got a beautiful smile, you can probably thank him somewhere down the line for that. I think you were in the dentist business, what, about 50 years?
50 years. Practiced 50 years.
But you're third generation dentist.
Yep. Yeah, when you tie my grandfather, my dad, my brother, and me, we've served this area for 175 years.
That is crazy.
It is crazy, but that's if you're lucky enough to live long enough, you get to say that.
On top of all that, he's also a very well and established photographer. He takes some of the most beautiful pictures that you ever saw in your life. He's got a great Facebook page, which I got on there last night. You got to do some beautiful stuff. But today's deal, we're going to be out here at a ranch that's got I think that this is probably just what you've been looking for since retirement.
That's exactly right. It was kind of a raw piece, and I've been putting together some things.
Let's walk back here in the back and take a look down there in that bottom.
It's
a beautiful place. Musings from the banks of the Lavaca River.
Robert E. Buddy Lee on Facebook.
Robert E. Buddy Lee on Facebook. Now, let me ask you this. Do you ever get tired of looking at that?
Oh, how could you possibly? Let me tell you, my metaphor about the river, all that stays the same except it gets green and this, that, and the other, and the grass comes, this, that, and the other. But the weather pattern you see, I got to show you one I looked up and here it comes from the north, and that sucker it was swirling, and I'll show you pictures.
I tell you what, Mother Nature can be a little artistic at times herself.
That's right. Always.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Why don't you sit right here?
Sit right here?
Yeah, you on my... I got a bad ear and a good ear.
Well...
You're on my good ear side.
I tell you what, I can get used to this. Just sit right here in the shank of the evening, as Uncle Jimmy called it, and just...
I tell you what.
Talk about whatever needs to be talked about.
I do it every day.
Tell us about your land here.
Well, this place was bought back in the early 50s by my parents. And in the beginning, we had a herd of Hereford cattle that came from Brady. I remember when they unloaded those cattle. That's a long way back in the 50s. And then, we just had a cattle operation. My dad was a dentist, and I remember working out here, and our job was to make sure we had a horse saddled for him. And when he come out of that dental office, and that Cadillac come over that cattle guard, you could just hear whoom. And he'd drive up, he'd get out of that car, he'd get on that horse, and he'd ride all through the bottom. And he really enjoyed that. And then later on, he really got into horses. He always was an animal person. He was an animal whisperer. He had dogs and he never said a word to them. They were watching him all the time. And he got into cutting horses. And this was when cutting horses really kind of got started. We had a thoroughbred mare that was in the top 10 in the nation at one time. Cupid S. And you could ride, if you took the bridle off that horse, she'd cut and she'd hurt you. She could flat hurt you. But what a ride. Anyway, but he was injured in a horse accident out here, and he died he was 62 in 1980. And then my mother took over, and we started getting some cattle from Robinson Ranch, some beef masters. I'd get about 20 heifers every year for about 4 years, and we raised some really good cattle. And then she passed away, and my brother and I, in 2012, we split up our places, and he's got some land up on 530, and then I got this right here. And I retired 9 years in December, it'll be 9 years ago from the dental office, and I said, I had a place to go. This is a tough time of life because you're not who you used to be. You're used to being called Dr. Buddy or Dr. Lee or whatever with your doctor in front of your name, and now you're Mr. And for a lot of people, that's a real tough transition.
Yeah.
Me, I was lucky enough that this agricultural thing and cattle and land I've been doing this I'm the fifth generation.
You kind of raised up in it.
Fifth generation to do it. And so, I've got a home. When I leave the house, I'm going to paradise every day.
I get it.
Every day. So, my job right now is to get this place in the best shape I can to hand it off to the next generation.
Mr. Buddy, that so many places, a lot of this country used to be big country.
Yeah.
Early Texas, you could,
4,200 acres they give it to you. If you worked in the Revolution, free in Texas.
Yeah, so there was lots of big land out there, and lots of big ranches.
Yeah.
But then nature takes its course, and everybody's got a bunch of kids, and all of a sudden, that the division in property becomes a real thing. And then, then the interesting thing to me is it's up to whoever the heirs are. Hopefully they've paid enough attention to kind of dance with the one that brung them,
it is a real dance, because I look back at my journey through all this, and golly mom, I wasn't always out here, working. As the older I got, now of course I don't put all kind of time into it, because that's what I do every day, and I worry about that, because I don't like to lose all that history that we had.
History's huge.
And when you pull that linchpin in a family, and all the cars can go all kind of ways, it's going to break up. And then I worried about that until I was thinking the other day, I've got a neighbor across the way that he bought a place. In fact, it used to belong to my great aunt. And he has done a fabulous job with that place. He's done more with that place than anybody's done in the last 100 years. And it's pretty remarkable. So my concern about these families breaking up the land and wanting my piece, and I'd rather, I understand, because this land is now worth anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 an acre, and to get a cattle lease is about the only thing you can do with it, because most of this is river bottom. all you can really do with it is lease it for cattle, and that's $15 an acre.
Yeah.
Well, that's no return.
No.
So it's completely understandable. It's sad to me, but then all of a sudden you have a guy show up, buys it, starts working with it. So it's fabulous. I like that.
Yeah, but one of the things that always interests me about going to a place is the brand and how the ranch got its name.
Yeah.
Those are because those things, most folks, those aren't easy things. A brand is a well thought out deal.
No.
And when you name a ranch, it's well thought out too. There's a reason behind everything. So if I'm not prying, what's your story about your brand and the ranch?
Well, when my brother and I split up these places, we had Lee Cattle Company. So he's a Lee and I'm a Lee. Well, what does that mean? Well, maybe we ought to just flip because we had a Lee Cattle Company, and the brand was Lee.
Yeah.
And so we were over at Newt's in Victoria eating lunch, talking about it. I said, well, let's just flip a coin. I never have been very lucky. So McHenry, he got.
You could have played rock, paper, scissors or anything, but you flipped a coin.
I still think it worked out the way it did.
Yeah.
And so, man, I can't use Lee Cattle Company anymore. Lee Ranch, that doesn't feel right because you can't not really have two Lee ranches. And the other thing that hit me and my family is the fact that this place has always been used for cattle and then horses and back to cattle. But now, if you look over there, there's a yoga deck that my daughter built. Yoga deck. And it's in a mott of oak trees, gorgeous oak trees. And so she's looking at doing different things with this property. People that live in a big city are just uptight as they can be. And I think there's a whole, you got to start looking at revenue centers for a place like this because let me tell you something, they just don't keep themselves up.
And a drought's cheap.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're yoga and restorative things, and she's got these crystal bowls that she plays that are just gorgeous. We laid out there on that deck, and she played those bowls, and we with your eyes closed, I mean, you could be anywhere.
I imagine that would be some kind of relaxing.
Oh my goodness! And she's doing so well with that. And so we were sitting on the back porch and talking about, well, what are we going to call this place? It's kind of like having those little things when you were a kid. You could write on them. If you didn't like it, you pull it up.
Yeah.
Exosketch.
It's a sketch.
Yes, it. Yeah. So we were doing that kind of thing, and for some reason I looked over at that big mother tree, and it just hit me. Deep Roots Ranch.
Wow.
Because, good Lord, we've been on this river since 1825, and I'd say that's pretty deep.
That's pretty deep.
And so, and then I there was a friend of ours that this goes way back, but he had a ranch down around Houston and Katy, and he had a ring with his brand on it, and I thought, that's the dangest looking. I love that.
Heck yeah.
So I was in like my first or second year in dental school, and then you could get these ring patterns, and so I made my own brand RL3 because I'm Robert E. Lee III, and I made that ring, and so this ring is, I don't know, it's 60 years
It's
old.
beautiful.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's the brand that goes with the Deep Roots Ranch.
That's a fascinating story. And what a tribute to a tree.
Oh, well.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, that's...
It's representative of the whole concept.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you do have some beautiful trees on this place.
I'm telling you, I've got a program. We got us a skid steer and all these little elm trees. They just grow up underneath it because most of this place is river bottom. There's only this hill is about the only place you can get out of the water. But when that river gets up, it floats all those elm seeds down, and they just grow. I mean, they can grow on concrete.
Yeah.
And so I use that skid steer I've got a program I call Free the Oaks, and I'll get those suckers out from under that oak trees.
Those elm trees can be kind of like we said.
Oh, they're horrible.
Once they start going.
Horrible.
Did you know? Out of the 540,000 acres that encompasses Jackson County, over 380,000 include farm and ranch land.
Boy, I tell you what, this oak tree right here got a lot going on.
You look at it, you think, how'd this happen? How did this happen? Of course, all that wood like down over there and what you picked up yesterday, you couldn't.
No, it'd
burn up a chain
in a heartbeat.
Chainsaw. Yeah.
In a heartbeat. I tell you one thing. If you had a way of listening to that tree, oh, the stories that she could tell.
You just have to wonder what's happened here.
What's happened here? What's going on here? Who's enjoyed the shade of this tree? Who's hid behind it?
Yeah.
Big limbs fall.
Yeah, I really would like to have that long table picnic here.
Oh yeah, no, heck
but
no.
I could, I can see the damn thing breaking off.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, I'm with you on that. But you know, we may not get out from under it yet. But
yep.
How old do you reckon that tree is?
I don't know, but I do know I'm gonna get an arborist out here and bring him to some of these. I mean, I'm going down this other way. It's just they're all kind of. I mean, they're big trees.
And you know what's always amazed me about oak trees is they're huge, and the older they get, the bigger they get. And it's just but like the trees around our house,
yeah,
they're big oak trees, and every once in a while we'll lose one of them, and it's how little
the root
system
I know
that maintains this huge tree. It's
know.
been there, you know. I always heard that, you know, the root system went out as far as the drip line.
Right.
And
I don't see it on oak trees.
I mean, I bet it'd be lucky if it was 5 or 6 feet on each side of it.
Yeah.
But whatever they got a hold of down there, they got a pretty good hold of it.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
This old tree here's been here a few years.
You know, the curiosity killed the cat, and I guess I'm a cat because I am so curious about stuff.
Well,
and how that big log, you know, it broke off because there's where it broke from, and then it's sitting on top of that deal, and then this limb that goes over it. Well, heck, fire, that's probably 100 years old right there.
absolutely.
So how long? I mean, this you couldn't cut that down log with a chainsaw. It'd eat that chain
But
up.
how come it didn't rot?
How come it didn't rot? I don't know.
And that thing's just like iron right now.
Yeah. Try to drive a nail through that thing. I bet you couldn't even screw into it.
It'd make you talk in tongue.
Yep.
Like, man, you ain't supposed to say that. Yeah.
I mean, that thing was huge.
That big old rascal. That thing
And it's got to be heavy, but it's still, I mean, it's just being held up by that little deal because it could slide down if that broke.
That, I guarantee you one thing, that thing's a piece of art. It's somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a piece of art sitting there right the way it is right there, but the way them knots and all that stuff tied together, and the way people make stuff. Now, I would think that get the right person doing the right thing, they can make something out of that.
Yeah, knowing what they're doing.
But you know what? It kind of fits right here, too.
You know, it's perfect. It's perfect. Now, I had me a model out here, and I still haven't extracted what I wanted out of that.
Yeah.
You know, everybody has an essence to them. Even trees have an essence. And you see it in people, but to capture that onto a photograph is just dang amazing. Now that's what makes my motor run.
You know, that's one of the picture that you and Jerry, when y'all went down to Cuba and did that.
Yeah.
Those are so fascinating to me, but you can sit there and look at all your photographs down there, and it's almost like you're standing there. That is so cool because it's just, I was fascinated with that exhibit.
Well, thank you for that. The guy we go with, Lauren Resnick, he said, if you picture in what you want it to be, you're not close enough. And he said, don't let that Resnick finger get in your back too much, because he's pushing you towards, because it's all about street shooting and taking photographs of different individuals you see, this, that, and other. And but to try to capture that essence that you see in somebody, it's kind of like, oh,
yeah,
there it was.
And those
and they're fleeting.
Yeah, they're very fleeting.
He
but
said,
there's nothing like capturing it in that particular second.
He said, tell me how many pictures you took of her. And I said, I don't know, 10, 20? He said, not enough. You got to keep shooting pictures until they're bored with you. That's when it comes out.
Maybe you know someone that should be highlighted on our program. Let us know. Submit your story ideas to crossroadstoday.com/ag.
Folks, whenever your travels take you down there somewhere around 111, whether you're headed to Edna from Yoakum or going to Yoakum from Edna, you can pass right by one of the greatest spots in town, the Morales store. They got all kinds of signs in there. They got all kinds of things to eat. Y'all come on in there, let's take a look, because you're going to love it. And it's a favorite spot of Mr. Buddy Lee. Hello there. How are y'all? And then you got the friendliest, prettiest waitress sitting right here at the Morales store. And the only thing you got to do to come in there and get something good to eat is you got to find the sign that says "Order Here," and they'll do the rest.
Nobody can read.
Yeah, nobody can read. And then you got to find somebody that knows. Well, here he is. The best things to eat. Hey, bud. What's the best thing to eat? Are the Reuben sandwiches any good? Yeah. What about the hamburger? The chili's excellent too. This guy, you can't go wrong. Y'all get on down there by the Morales store. You ain't gonna find it anywhere but on 111, and it's just a little bit off the beaten path. We'll see y'all next time on Let's Grow Texas Ag.
You've been watching Let's Grow Texas Ag. Special stories focused on the farmers, ranchers, and those who work in our agricultural industries in South Texas. Visit our website for more information and program schedules. Sponsored by Scherer Kubota, Trust Texas Bank, and Weber Motor Company.